My name is Scott Molesky, and I'd like to welcome you to an Introduction to Shapes, Volume 1. The agenda for this particular lesson will look at what applications this video applies to, drawing shapes. We'll also take a look at how to delete shapes, how to draw regular shapes, drawing shapes from the center, adjusting the size of shapes, adjusting the proportions of shapes, whether they're taller or wider, adding text to shapes, and how do we move shapes. The applications we're going to work with are Microsoft Office applications, like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Publisher, and Visio. Each of these applications will work the same way with shapes that I'll show you today. So let's go ahead and get started on working with shapes. I'm going to draw my shapes here in PowerPoint, but as I mentioned, it works virtually identically in all those applications, all 5 of them. So let's start off with drawing shapes. To draw a shape, we want to go up to Insert. On the Insert ribbon, partway down in the Illustrations area, we'll find Shapes. There's a little drop-down arrow. I want to click on that drop-down arrow so I can see all the different shapes that are available. I have regular shapes that I use all the time. I have different kinds of squares, lines, squiggly lines. I even have a smiley face, a lightning bolt. You'd think Harry Potter was dealing with shapes. A cloud, arrows, and we even have some different stars and banners and callouts. I'm going to start off with drawing an ellipse or an oval. When we draw, we click and hold and drag to the desired shape. And there's an oval. We're going to cover changing colors and line colors and fill colors in Volume 2. I'm just going to choose one of these quick system colors up here. I can also go to Insert, Shapes, and draw a rectangle. Simply click and drag. I tend to click from the top to the down and to the right, but you can just as easily click and drag up and to the right, down and to the left, or up and to the left. Whatever makes you comfortable, you can draw your shapes in that way. Next, let's talk about creating regular shapes. So here I have an oval. I don't want an oval, I want a perfect circle. A perfect circle would be a regular shape. The same as a square is a perfect rectangle. So a regular shaped rectangle is a square, and an equilateral triangle would be a regular shaped triangle. So if I go to Insert, Shapes, you'll notice there's no circle in the list. But what I can do is choose the oval tool, click and hold and drag, but while I drag, I'll hold down with my other hand the Shift key. Now it's drawing a perfect circle. I can't draw an oval. I can only draw a regular circle. Let go of the mouse before you let go of the Shift key. I've done it before, and lots of people have done it before. You let go of the Shift key first and suddenly it's no longer a regular circle anymore. I can do the same thing with a rectangle. Shapes, rectangle, I click and hold, I drag holding the Shift key down, and I get a perfect circle, or excuse me, a perfect square. So now I have drawn regular shapes. Let's learn to draw shapes from the center. I would like to draw a circle so that the center of the circle is the corner of this square. That sounds complicated, doesn't it? The center of the circle will be around the corner of that square. So as we know now, we need to go up to Insert, go to Shapes, and choose the oval or the ellipse. I'm going to put my cursor right there on the corner. I don't have to be perfect at this point. Click and, oh, I clicked and right clicked at the same time. Let's get rid of that. Let's try that again. Insert, Shapes, Oval, right on the corner, and I start dragging. Oh no, it's still an oval. I hold down the Shift key, and now it's a circle, but it's a circle not with the center on the corner of the square. If I drew an imaginary square around my circle, the corner would be on the corner, but what I would like is the center to be the corner. How did that happen? I'm still holding down the Shift key to make it a perfect circle, but I'm also holding down the Control key to draw from the center. Once again, let go of the mouse before you let go of the Shift and the Control key, and here you'll have your perfect circle at the corner of my square. And you can do that. You can make an ellipse from the center. You can make a rectangle from the center, a square from the center, any of these shapes from the center, just by holding down that Control key, even if you're not holding down the Shift key. All right. So now I have the shape from the center. Let's learn how to adjust the size of a shape. To adjust the size of a shape, simply click on the shape. Point at either any of the corners. If you hold down on a side, that's the next topic, changing the proportions of a shape. If you want to change the size of the shape but keep it looking the same, just bigger or smaller, you point at a corner and drag, and it gets bigger or smaller. Kind of looks like an egg. If I want to make this rectangle taller, not wider, I would use the center, not a corner, though you could, but you might adjust the width. If you didn't want to adjust the width at all, use the center or the side and drag it from that resizing handle. If I want to adjust the size of an existing circle, for example, and I want the circle to stay a circle, and in this case I need it to adjust from the center of the circle. Holy cow, this is all kinds of things. It's going to be a regular shape. It's going to be from the center, and I need it to stay in the same shape. We grab the corner, and if I start dragging, it's not a circle anymore. But to keep it a circle, I hold down the Shift key. But it's not resizing from the center, so I hold down the Control key. And now I can resize the existing circle just by dragging using my two keys. To add text to a shape is relatively simple. I'm going to add a new shape. I'm going to add a banner. I'll simply click and drag. And we'll make this a darker green. To put text in a banner or in any shape, simply click on the shape and start typing. Click off the shape, and there it is. You can, if you want to adjust the text, I can highlight the text. I'm going to double click on it so that it's easily selected. I can make it bold. I can make the font yellow. I can make it underlined. There. Isn't that pretty? A lot of times people will come and they want to put numbers in a circle, so they can indicate a particular position. So I can come in here, make that bold, and even make it a much larger text if necessary. If you're putting text inside of a shape, you can use left, center, and right adjustments either in this pop-up format or simply go back to the Home tab, the Home ribbon, and use any of the font formatting and paragraph formatting options. Now, moving a shape sounds easy, and I've done it already while I've been working in this particular lesson. If it doesn't have any text in it, you can click anywhere and grab it and move it around. But if it has text, that makes it a little more complicated, because if I click and I want to grab the shape, I'm grabbing text, I'm not grabbing the shape. If you always grab the edge of the shape, you can drag it around. Or if you are in the text and you can't seem to grab onto the edge, maybe because it's so small, you can use the F2 key to move from being inside the text to selecting the shape itself. And now I can drag the shape around more easily. Or if you don't want to drag it around, you prefer to use your arrow keys, I can use my arrow keys and a control arrow. We're going to learn how to rotate in the next lesson. Control arrow to move as well. That is our introduction to shapes. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you've learned something today.